Thank you for joining me for another edition of Alive and Kicking on Location, the reboot version, because we've been away for a while because, you know, I had a little bit of a issue. Let's just say that I'm single and ready to mingle now. And also, then we had that panicdemic, as I call it, so no one could do any shows, as we all know. But we're back. We're here back at Jackie Knight's Comedy Corner, located at 828 Anastasia Boulevard in beautiful, historical St. Augustine, Florida. And if you want to reach them after we had this wonderful interview, because you want to come see Jack here, the number is 904-461-8843. All right, so we are here at Jackie Knight's Comedy Club, and I have here with me the awesome Jack Willhite. Thanks for coming driving all the way down from Virginia.
My pleasure.
Just to come to have a nice interview with me. So what have you been up to?
Believe it or not, I actually was able to work a little bit during the pandemic. Obviously, during the shutdown, April, May, June, things were rather tough. But by the time things got into the fall, I was kind of leapfrogging around to various states that had unrestricted or less restrictions. A lot of that was in the Midwest before they had a pre-holiday spike. So it was a lot like juggling plates on sticks on the Ed Sullivan Show. You know, you just had to go where you could go. Fortunately, you live in a state that's open down here.
Yes.
So, yeah, woohoo.
Thank you, Governor DeSantis.
Yeah, definitely.
Now everyone's moving here.
Yeah, that's the downside, yeah.
So,
don't move here.
So now you are like a cross between Weird Al Yankovic and an 80s tribute band.
That's right.
How did you get into this? Because that's like a craft.
I wish I could tell you it was like a straight line trajectory, but it's not. It started out with like one musical bit that got a different reaction that I used to do on the back end of the show. And then I just started building backwards from that and saying, oh, let's do 2 of them. Let's do 3. Let's do 4. And mostly it was just characters and singing. And then I had one with a guitar, and that worked really well. So then it was 1 guitar, then 2. Now it's 5. So
I know, and you have to pack all this stuff around.
It's like a little band here tonight. Welcome to my world here tonight. Everything does something as part of the whole deal. And like we were talking earlier, I'd be in an insane asylum if I didn't have this to do. So this is safer to have me exercising my demons doing all this than to be out in the free world otherwise. So,
right.
There you go. Look at all that.
I know, and you have all these amps, lights, guitars, costumes, and you bring the audience a twisted high energy of music parodies that is beyond a belief, trust me. And I like it because it's mainly 80s music, right? Or are you going into the 90s or the 2000s or anyone?
I've got some stuff I'm working on that's a little bit of 90s stuff that I'm going to need for some crowds that are kind of into that, some Nirvana and Stone Temple Pilots and stuff, but that I'm still working on that right now, so it's not ready for show use.
Well, I was thinking you should do like The Weeknd.
Oh, you're not going to see me doing that. He's a DJ.
No, he's not. The Weeknd? He performed at the Super Bowl.
But he doesn't play anything, does he?
Well, he has a few hits. Like But he
doesn't play guitar as part of his thing, though.
Oh, no, you're right. Darn it.
Well, no. I mean, that doesn't mean you can't do it, but it's just like, you know, usually I'm just doing artists per se that are either known as being outlandish front people, vocalists, or guitarists. You know, Stevie Ray Vaughan or Prince or whatever.
AC/DC, which is my favorite all-time band. And of course awesome. you do some Prince. You do some Prince. Ozzy Osbourne, Guns N' Roses.
Yes.
And your whole prop act here reminds me of Carrot Top in Las Vegas.
Okay, well, you know, that's a compliment.
Yeah, because you're always having to, you know, change, and he does a lot of that and grabbing stuff and everything.
Sure.
So anyway, how do you figure out how to create their mannerisms and everything? That's got to be hard.
I just try to do the best I can. I mean, you go back and you look at videos. You look at Ozzy or Axl or Angus with AC/DC, and you just look at videos and just see if you can kind of duplicate that. There's a certain amount of mirror time. You've got to put the costume on and screw around a little bit to see if you can make it happen. Just do the best I can. I'm not saying it's an exact duplication. It's a facsimile. I try, and you try to get and obviously the wilder ones like Ozzy are much easier because they're so quirky.
Right.
But if you get 2/3 of them, you probably got the character down. And Angus with the guitar and the motions on stage.
And Guns N' Roses, that guy has that little Axl, yeah.
Yeah, Axl's pretty fun to do.
I like that too.
Always the twisted ones are always the best.
But I was thinking that, you know, you might want to do some Blake Sheldon.
Well, I do Jason Aldean.
Oh, okay.
And I've got a couple others that I'm working on in the country field too. He would be good. Yeah, any of them. Usually if they're guitarists, that's a good thing.
Because that way you could do.
Yeah,
but
you know,
that is a lot of work for when you take on a new, like, let's just say you took on this new guy you mentioned, the country guy you just mentioned, Aldean.
Jason Aldean. Yeah.
I remember him because he was there during that shooting.
Yes,
in
in
Las
Vegas.
Vegas. He was performing on stage.
That's right. He was.
Wow. So, but I was thinking that, if you take on a new person like that, that really takes a lot of work and energy to create the moves and everything, right? I mean, you have to do some studying.
Yeah, I like to think so, but that's half the fun. I mean, if it works, when you get to the finished product, if it gets the payoff, then it was all worth that. I mean, I don't think you can just sit in your kitchen and go, yeah, I think I'm going to do this, and then not take the time to try to, get the costuming right, learn how to play the song, sing it, change the lyrics, and get the mannerisms down. Yeah, there's a little work in there, but it's an act of passion. I do it because it's fun, and hopefully that translates out to the audience when it's all finished. So.
They always say that you find something that you love to do and you never work a day in your life.
That's it. That's it. Well, here you go.
But yeah, this is the job for you.
Yeah,
just
part-time roadie, performer, manager, you name it, I'm doing it all here.
So now you are a 15-year veteran in this field, right? Or is it even more now?
It's probably 20 from the very beginning when I was just doing straight stand-up.
Okay, and you've worked with Jeff Dunham.
I was up in Jacksonville here.
Is he the one that does the puppets?
Yes.
Okay. John Lovitz?
Lovitz.
He was from SNL.
Correct.
Right?
Right.
And Bobcat Goldthwait? Okay. Does he have the weird voice? Is that what
it's kind of a quirky voice. He did Shakes the Clown, was one of his characters, and he did some TV work and was really known for his stand-up back in the 80s. Now he does a lot of directing and whatnot, but a lot of people know him from his movie work.
Oh.
He was really cool.
I didn't know he was in any movie.
Yep. And I worked with Tommy Davidson a couple of
I
times.
met him.
I know. And he was down here. Jackie had him here, I think.
Yes, she has had him here, and I
Tommy's pretty cool.
saw him at another club up in Jacksonville. But yeah,
Yep.
he's good. So now, did any of these people you've met give you any advice on the business?
No, that never came up.
No?
At all. No, they're just the cool thing about all these people that I've worked with, they pretty much in the green room, everybody's on an equal footing. I mean, John Lovitz was like, to me and the other comic, he was like, you guys are really the pros here. I'm just kind of here doing my thing, And so I guess everybody's just kind of considering you pretty much an equal. You're going to share a stage with them. You've got material. You're a professional. And they treat you that way. They're not like, hey, buddy, little tight there. I'm going to teach you what's going on. It was never like that. Dunham was very cool. They said Jack has a bunch of gear that he puts on stage, less than I have now. And he was like, well, I don't care. As long as I got room for my little trunk over here to put the dummies in, I'm good. And then we would just shoot the breeze about the business and just talk as just equals in the business. I mean, obviously Jeff is worldwide now, but yeah, they were all cool. Nobody pulled anybody aside and said, hey, here you go.
No one was?
Well, that may have happened with the MCs or something that I didn't see, but I mean, at that time I was already a finished product, so probably figuring I had enough problems they didn't need to contribute to it.
Wow. Because, I've heard, because I watch my entertainment stuff, Access, Hollywood, and, sometimes you get and there is a show called The Dish, about the dish.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they sometimes will say things about, I worked with so-and-so, and he told me, in fact, I think Justin Timberlake recently said this, that he worked with someone, he did say the name, but I forget who it was, and he was so rude and said, you'll never make anything of yourself. I like to hear the dirt. So isn't there any dirt you can share?
I can't think of anything about anybody specifically. I mean, obviously people at that level, you're going to run into all different types of individuals. I guess I've just been lucky. Most of the people I work with are pretty nice and pros. I hear stories circulating, but not having been there, you never know. But that's true of all facets of entertainment. My favorite thing to do is like when I'm in New York, if I'm lucky enough to be in a limo or whatever and know that people are responsible for traveling and ferrying around some of these individuals, that question will always come up and be like, all right, enough about the nice ones. Who's been a jerk?
So it's not just me that's
and
asking.
they kind of do this number where they kind of go, well, XYZ was here and he didn't tip with a damn you know. And so that's the
Right.
stuff that's always fun. Yeah, the dirt is. But fortunately, that's pretty minimal.
That's good. That's good.
It happens.
So, is there a favorite state and club, could be different, that you prefer to perform in? Like right here, perhaps? Is this your favorite?
Well, I've been performing in this club for at least 15 years. Jackie's nice and brings me back on a regular basis, and this one's always been great. Now that I'm doing the one-man show, it's just a handful of comedy clubs that I still work in, and now I'm out into other areas doing stuff in performing arts centers and theaters and VFWs and you name it, and I go and do the whole one-man show thing. And I can't think of any one place that's really stands out, that's great from others. I mean, the whole comedy club scene is cool, but you get into some of these really cool theaters and stuff, these older theaters. I just worked one out in Iowa last year that'd been around since the vaudeville days. And it was just an amazing facility. It was great. The place held like about 500 people out there. It was just a great show. So you get to experience a lot of these older venues if you're in that facet of the business with the theaters and stuff. And then you get to come to cool places like this down here in St. Augustine. Of course, this town is cool too.
Yes.
That's the great thing.
But it has crazy drivers, I'm just saying.
Those are all the ones that are moving here. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. They're trying to escape the panicdemic. I call it the panicdemic.
Yeah, that's right. We're giving them limited visas to be here. That's if not a state, okay.
So now, where's your next stop?
I'm headed from here. I'll eventually end up in Nebraska, and then Wyoming, Kansas, back in Florida in April, and then a whole series of stuff in Georgia, Wisconsin, Minnesota coming up in late April and May.
And you drive everywhere.
I
mean, you have to with all your gear.
Well,
because
yeah,
it
how are
costs
you
a
going to
fortune.
fly with this stuff? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not going to work. And flying's no picnic either, because you can be in Orange County, California, headed to the East Coast. If it's snowing in Chicago for your connection, forget it, you're done. So at least with four-wheel drive, you can get where you need to go. It might take a lot longer, but you're going to get there, and that's good.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
No, you have to travel, because this is a half a ton of gear. No way to fly it.
So is there anything new I'm going to see in the show tonight?
I'm trying. Probably. I don't know if I was doing Stevie Ray Vaughan back when you were doing it. Prince has a new costume, and I think I think REO Speedwagon's in there that I didn't have before. I can't really. It's been so long since we did that last show. I can't really remember that entire set list. And then you'll see the greatest hits in there, but I think there are a few new things in here.
Someone's calling me. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Great.
I hope you didn't take any money out of that wallet. I'm just saying. I'm just kidding. So now how do you get like all these wigs? Do you go to costume shops?
Some of them come from costume shops. I mean, there was one in Nashville that was great called Performance, but they're out of business now because of the pandemic. Other than that, there are lots of wig and beauty shops across the country. There was one in Hollywood that I used to go to on a regular basis where they could cut the wig and make modifications to it. So, just depending on what the character is. I love Party City, but you're not going to find what you're looking for at Party City. It's just straight black, curly. You got to go someplace where they got the pro wigs, human hair stuff. So so I'll go to pro costume shops in California. There was one in Memphis I used to go to, and then that one in Nashville. And just depending on what character you have, you go in, you look at their whole wall, and then you pick your wig, and away you go.
You're worse than a damn woman.
Well, that's funny you say that, because as part of my travels, I get to work in some of these cabarets.
Oh, there you go.
And there's one in Idaho that I work on a regular basis. It's awesome, and the host is 6 feet tall. And I remember he came over one time and he said, "Darling," he said, "you got more wigs than most of the girls that come in the club here." So I'm like, all right, cool. Take that as a compliment, man. We can talk wigs.
Just don't use Gorilla Glue.
Yeah, the stuff you hear people doing is nuts.
And that was a big thing. I mean,
yeah.
A doctor.
Who cooked that idea up? That was a great idea.
No, it really happened.
No, I know it happened.
Okay.
I'm just saying, who came up with that idea? I think I'll put glue in my hair. Great.
Well, supposedly she thought it was hairspray.
How can
She got it mixed
It says
up.
Gorilla Glue right on the package. How can you think that that's hairspray?
Well, the thing about it is, I have used Gorilla Glue, but all my Gorilla Glue comes in a little bottle like this. I've never seen
Anytime I've
this
ever bought it. You say there's a spray?
Yeah, that's what she did.
You gotta be kidding.
No. And thank goodness she wasn't from Florida. Usually that's where the really crazy things happen.
Oh, really?
I forget where she's from though. So now, let everyone know how they can find you.
I'm on all the social media. So I have a website, www.jackwillhite.com, Instagram, Jack Willhite, and the Facebook is Jack Willhite's Rock and Roll Comedy Show. Any of those three, they can find me out there. There's plenty out there.
Okay,
On the
great.
internet.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jack. I know that the last time I saw you and we did a nice interview, I think you suffered from PTSD after that.
Oh no, I think it was because we were at the top of a building in Daytona with no air conditioning, and it was like 100 degrees with the sun coming through the window. And you looked perfect, but I think I was melting there. So no, it had nothing.
Usually I'm the one that melts.
It had nothing to do with the interview. It was just so damn hot. It was like, oh my God, thank God we got air conditioning here today and we're able to make it happen. No, I appreciate you having me. This is always fun.
So you got over the PTSD.
I had no PTSD. It was
And
all fun.
now he's getting new PTSD right now.
No, honestly, of all the show videos that I have out there that are on the internet, everybody always seems to remember that one that we did in Daytona and always mentions it to me. So it must have some staying power.
Good.
No
good.
PTSD.
Yeah.
It was good.
Good. Well, so you all have got to come see this gentleman, Jack Willhite. He's rock and roll legend, right? You are a rock and roll legend.
I can't make that statement, but thank you. That's
Included
kind.
with the comedy, of course. And thank you for watching. And be sure to also tune into all my social media. I'm now on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook under Leesa Marie Benz. I think that's how you can find me. I didn't drop the last name. I just dropped him. Anyway, I'm glad to be back. Thank you again, Jack.
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Thanks for having me.
And be sure to keep watching for more exciting, fun, lively interviews, because we're going to keep it going as long as this pandemic keeps on moving on down the road. Thank you and good night.